Hello and welcome to the Maracade. So, no new game today as in no Soul Reaver or whatever else I had on the docket. No, I've been meaning to let's start this properly. Hello, I'm Glenn. I'm a Dark Souls 2 apologist. Yeah, I like Dark Souls 2. I like it a lot, in fact. I think I might like it a lot more than Dark Souls 3, because I think Dark Souls 3, while being very good, didn't do all that much interesting stuff. And I just have very fond memories. And those are not just, rose-tinted glasses when it came out. I've played this game a lot over the years. And it has problems, and one definitive problem were the somewhat undercooked visuals. Like, something got lost, a bunch of stuff got lost in translation between early demos at E3, and they had a very condensed development schedule, and then Dark Souls 2 came out on consoles and PC, then Scholar of the First Sin, the director's cut, was released, or, whatever you want to call it. And that one also kind of muddled the situation, lighting effects no longer being what they used to be. And it led to a game that just looked very flat. Just a very unloved presentation. Lighting not particularly realistic or atmospheric. A bunch of washed out textures. And that really also holds the game back upon subsequent playthroughs, because when you're coming from Elden Ring, it's kind of a tall order to go back to a game that already plays slower. And the gameplay also has issues. And if I end up falling down the rabbit hole of just playing Dark Souls 2 again, over multiples, like, this is just today. Today's stream is just meant to showcase the lighting engine mod and a texture pack that has been making, quote-unquote headlines. Gaming blogs reported on this, and the game does look much better. Like, fans really went in there, and I don't know how deep the technical thing goes, but it looks like they just really threw out the old lighting engine and just redid it from scratch. The game also performs really well, given that it is even though the lighting effects are more demanding, the re-implemented anti-aliasing is more demanding, but it's also very well optimized, so it runs nicely. And you know what, let's just watch the intro and we'll take it from there.
Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind.
I really like this. Like, this is one of the few times
You will lose everything.
where we really see what hollowing
Branded,
does to a person.
the symbol of the curse. An augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow.
A very depressed person.
Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom.
As they want to do.
They called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why.
It's like McDonald's. Just a couple times a year, you just want that shitty burger. Even if this is a FromSoft game, I would not trust these fireflies to not be flesh-eating. Oh yeah, there's plenty of texture packs. Nexus Mods has a ton.
Moth drawn to a flame. Your wings will burn in anguish.
I mean, we're not seeing any of that yet because it's all pre-rendered. Beautifully pre-rendered, by the way. It holds up really well. I wonder if they filmed some of this in live action and then they just
The fate of the curse.
worked over that. Yeah, I never played The Surge. I guess my most favorite Souls-like, if you can still call it that, is Hollow Knight. Because Hollow Knight essentially tells a tale similar to Dark Souls 1 and 2, but does it in a more personable way. Like if you're more connected to the characters. And Elden Ring also really did a lot of that. You know, giving us more reason to care. I mean, I enjoyed the older Souls games, but it's a difference whether whether you just hear about Gwyn and eventually you find his shard remains, or if you basically encounter all of Marika's family across the game. Okay, so what I cannot do, sadly, is show you. I mean, I could reboot the game, disable the mods, all that jazz. But just trust me that this looks a lot better than unmodded. I started. Do you want to play the Dark Souls games? Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I imagine a lot of stuff, if you were to go into Elden Ring first, a lot of stuff would strike you as really cool and original, and then you play Dark Souls and you're like, oh, they already did that. But I played all the Dark Souls games before Elden Ring, and I had a fantastic time, and it felt like a very... like, this might actually still be a good order, because sometimes going back to the Souls games is hard. You know, little quality of life stuff.
What seems to be the ruckus? Oh my, your face.
You're hollow as fuck.
Of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play.
Looks at the player.
All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you? You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them.
Thank you.
Hollow's prey.
I haven't done any work on my overlay in a long while, but I'm proud of what I made, yeah.
This is the fate of the cursed.
I love these old fire keepers. Like, they just don't give a shit. Okay, so I think we're gonna go with the character name from my recent Elden Ring. Character, so Marion it is. Are you sure of your name? Who is, really?
At least you know your own name. Here's your reward.
Waldorf and Stadler. I never put this together, but
It's a human effigy.
they remind me of Waldorf and Stadler from the Muppets.
Take a closer look. Who do you think it's supposed to be? Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
That's insulting. Okay, I swear I'll make this quick. Class and gift, class, I think Marion started as a bandit, so let's go. I know, healing rare, song of bones, seated reject, bonfire aesthetic. Okay. Oh, wait, no. With a gambling sword. You know what? That works. Let's just do the... Played this game once so many times. Honestly, I'll just leave it at that.
All people come here for
We're gonna be hollow much of the playthrough anyway, as always.
You're no different, I should think.
And following in this game really fucks you up, like your hair falls out. And
Well, you never know. Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom. But remember,
Leave through the gift
hold on to
shop.
your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You'll lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
Yeah, direction really holds up. I mean, there's not much in the way of cutscenes in the rest of the game. Bloodborne on PC, yeah. I have this suspicion that, like, there's been some real progress on PlayStation 4 emulation. And it's gonna get there eventually. But I have the suspicion that if they ever port Bloodborne to PC, then the efforts poured into that emulation development, that's gonna drop off at least a little. Yeah, same. And also it would just be nice to have a little bit of, you know, stable 60 FPS, all that jazz. You don't have to redo all the textures or anything, but how does the game look? Okay, I know this particular area is not very bright, but I also don't want it to look too dark. Asking because I already cranked up the brightness from the default settings of the mod. Yeah, okay. Also, it just really shows off the torch effect and all that. Skip the tutorial. Still the most beautiful place in any Souls game. Although the Shaman Village in the Elden Ring DLC might give it a run for its money.
Are you the next monarch? Or merely a pawn of fate? Bearer of the curse, I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters. Take this with you. May it ease your journey. Go on and see the king. He who made Drangleic what it once was.
15 to 20 hours later. Oh, you saw the king.
King Vendrick.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if she has a community nickname, the Emerald Herald. I usually just call her Amy. Yeah, from Emerald.
Bearer of the curse, for misery will lead you to greater, stronger souls. You will never meet the king with a soul so frail
Oh, I guess no level 1 run for us, huh? At least we don't have her vote of confidence.
Who are you? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just help me open this door. I packed my tools in here, seeing it was vacant.
Leningrad, the window is wide open.
I'm a blacksmith. I'm nothing without my tools. Bring me that key. Chop chop.
Okay.
Hello there. Welcome to my shop. I'm Morlin, and I sell armor. Oh, sorry, Please do have a look at my wares. I could really use the business. If you'd be so kind.
Oh yeah, so I don't control these games with mouse and keyboard much, but you know, sometimes you're in a browser and then you click back onto the game window to focus it, and in the settings, like the default button for mouse and keyboard controls for attack is the left mouse button. I have that unbound, like I change it to not mean attack, just so I don't, you know, go to a vendor, check check out what he has to sell, and then I check a wiki to verify something, and then I click back to the window, and then my character is like, yep, gonna murder this vendor. Because that may have happened a couple times. The games get progressively more chill about dire consequences.
Very competitive, of course, and you have to grease the wheels to get anywhere. But I didn't have the funding for that, so I left home in hopes of striking gold.
You're not finding any gold here.
I've made very little headway. I don't even know why I'm still here. Everything's all run down and dying.
It's also super easy to miss certain quests, especially in early Souls games. There's very little signposting. There's no quest log. Dark Souls doesn't even have a map or anything. But it's usually a good idea to just go with the flow, because these games are meant to be replayed. And at least on your first playthrough, just let the chips fall however they may. Unless you meet an NPC that you really, really like. And if, you know, your personal preference is to look up in a wiki how to help them properly. Although, spoiler alert, most of these stories still end in tragedy, because that's what these games are about.
Well, I do hope I see you again.
And then there's shit like this. Or maybe one of the best NPCs in all of Souls.
Oh, undead are we? And one without much time remaining. Just about ready to fall apart, I'd say. Not exactly the time to be chatting with a cat.
Isn't she gorgeous? Like, the animation is so well observed. I'm glad they didn't try to lip sync her dialogue or anything.
What did you want anyway? Ooh, you
smell wonderful.
Like cardboard.
This place is already dead. Everything will crumble and waste away so that something new may be born. Isn't it wonderful?
Sweet Chokwa.
Nothing suited you, I presume. Well, that's dismaying.
Although I will say, the Souls games are something I only got into by watching a Let's Play. You know, at least a little of it. Because I remember installing Dark Souls 1, and I just bounced off of it. It just didn't feel good to play to me. Like, the controls felt too floaty and whatnot, and it was all very obtuse, you know? Happens to a lot of folks. And then I caught a Let's Play of Demon Souls. And it was just, you know, the player going through the first level, which is, you know, a cool castle level, very vertical. And just the whole thing about preserving your health, watching your corners, managing your resources, timing and combat and all that jazz. It all looked really cool. Like, in that moment I was like, yeah, no, there's something there. And I started with Demon Souls, then played Dark Souls, and then Dark Souls 2 came out.
Seek those whose name their souls will serve as beacons. Once you have found them, return here to me.
Sorry.
So
I
that hope will not fade away.
skipped some dialogue because I wasn't.
Is that a shard you found?
I was kind of in the mode of, now I'm talking to my, you know, companion character
To see light. To see
for a routine thing, and she still has
however faint.
one-time dialogue at this point. Okay, I should probably equip the Estus Flask. Right. There's a hippo here. I still remember, like, I originally played Dark Souls 2 when it came out, and I replayed it a bunch, but shit. But enemy placements, the way I remember them, some of it is still the base game, not the director's cut, and enemy placements changed a lot. So I might just be surprised here and there, which, you know. Oh, you didn't have to do that. Yeah, I guess Mastodon, direct messages would work, but again, I generally don't expect that kind of thing. Thank you. Also, I stream somewhat erratically, so I also don't want to make any promises on streaming gifted games. Especially since Souls-likes are very time intensive. Like I marked this one as a bonus stream as opposed to a session 1 because I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the whole Dark Souls 2 playthrough. Because I may have already streamed Dark Souls 2 as a no shield run. It is slower than Elden Ring, but combat in this game still feels very crunchy. Okay, yeah, well, that works. Poop. Did I? Oh, this is gonna get ugly. Yeah, this is turning into a situation. Oh? Where did you come from? So anyone coming up that ladder? Okay, I remember now. Rearrange the controls to be a little more like Elden Ring, and it's the result. Because jumping, not really a thing in Dark Souls, other than here? Okay. Oh, these guys are super hollow. Yeah, let me just clear this area. So the fact that this area has just a whole bunch of guys, I don't think the original game had that. You know, original Dark Souls 2 versus Director's Cut. And it's very easy to get overwhelmed here. And the only reason I'm doing pretty good is because I know they're coming. And I know how to pick them off. But yeah, the Director's Cut went pretty hard on giving you larger groups of enemies to fight. And you're not... I don't want to say you're not at all equipped to do that. As you can see, it can totally be done. But it's also easy to get shit at here. Oh, there's 3 guys in this room. Is this now a safe area? Oh. Oh. No, something's moving. This isn't safe. Oh. Yep, that worked. Thank you kindly. Not a thing I expect, but I am grateful. Also, I'm just curious in general, because I knew about the search. I heard the first one, you know, had potential, but maybe it didn't quite get there, and then the second one kinda actually confirmed that those devs were cooking, and you know, we're onto something. Because it's easy to get a little snobbish and be like, oh yeah, they're trying to do the Souls thing, and it's hard. These games are hard to make. But then you also find stuff like Hollow Knight, which very different, you know, Hollow Knight being a 2D game and everything. But Hollow Knight was really good at going with thematic elements, and also just that gameplay tension of kind of muddling through with limited resources through extended areas. Death marches, as I like to affectionately call them. At some point I'm also gonna check out Lies of P. I always want to say Lies of Pi, but the game has nothing to do with the, you know, with the tiger on a boat movie, Life of Pi. But you know, Lies of P is a Bloodborne-like game, and apparently they did a pretty good job. But yeah, it's not an area that's where FromSoft is the only one who's allowed to make games. Otherwise, its software would still be the only one making first-person shooters. I love a good safe room music. The safe room music from Resident Evil 2. Like, I think the remake had an okay take on it, but I'm thinking original PlayStation is one of my all-time. Also, what we heard earlier, Majula, the village that is your hub area in Dark Souls 2, Majula also just has absolutely beautiful music. Somebody should just tell them that if they left out the insane giggle at the end of every other sentence, they would come across as much more, you know, trustworthy. But then, who wants that? Broken sword. Hand axe. Are we currently rocking a hand axe? Yeah. Yeah, let's get twin hand axes and see how that shakes out. So, 9 strength. Dark Souls 2 was the first Souls game to deal in dual wielding movesets. And for them to work, you need like 150% of the requirements of the weapons. Like, not combined, that would be insane, but you know, the weapon with the highest strength requirement, which is 9 for this one. So I guess we need like a 14 or 15 in strength to access the dual wield moveset. Otherwise, it doesn't really, like, you can use them both. Combo is kind of disconnected. What? What's the strength? Anyway. 9. So, yeah, we would have a ways to go. But also getting from a strength of 9 to strength of 15 this early in the game is not hard. Did I even rest at that bonfire? Doesn't matter. The first hand axe is already on the fritz. And since we got Leningrad's key, We might as well. You didn't program for the NPC to actually walk in. Please reset the level. With this handy little effect.
You, Stan, the name's Lenigrast. Just a simple blacksmith. And you are?
While looking at mods for the game, I saw one that gives Lenigrast, you know, not green skin. But I don't know, I only ever knew him like this, so he's among the kinder blacksmiths. No, items only need of repair. Oh yeah, it has this system where regular weapon degradation is healed upon resting. Like, this is one of the things in the Souls games. From game to game, pretty much so many of the mechanics, they keep experimenting. Like, for instance, this is a pretty good setup for an item box, right? You can see what's inside, you can see what you're carrying around. And all that. That works, right? Dark Souls 1 has an absolutely atrocious item menu. And yeah. I'm still salty about the remaster coming out with no changes made to that. And I'm not sure it can be modded. Like it's like a list view, and then you have one number that indicates how many you have in your inventory and one number that indicates how many are in storage, and it's the worst. That's 3 level. Let's see, how much do we need for the next... Okay, so we're still already to 900 something. That's okay. So like about 2k souls to get to 15 and be able to dual wield. Oh. Well, I say dual wield. We're dual wielding right now, but yeah. But I think the mechanic is called power stance, where you get the actual dual wielding moveset. Yeah. Same. Enjoy the holidays, may they be stress-free and just all around pleasant. Oh, the game physics just really fucked me there. Like, I was basically just turning around and the game was like, yeah, I think I need to correct your positioning there. How about right above this cliff? Oh, over this cliff, rather. That's fine, I mean, we still look somewhat... Oh, wait, is Leningrad just hollow? I mean, who can blame them? Blame him in this... in this part of the world. Also, I keep calling him Leningrad, like there's an M between Lenny and Grast. But he's a pal and a great blacksmith. He's not a communist. Nope. The prices indicate otherwise. Right. But couldn't you have swung into the black powder? Like... Wait, what? Oh. There's folks with bows and arrows here. But still, this area's kind of becoming the why did I die spot. But that's okay. Especially once we have the shortcut open. Let's just hustle up here. And see. Come on. Could you maybe be a little less smart about your... Great. I feel there should be, as a rule, more friendly fire in these games. Some games are pretty good about it. Proceeds to faceplant spectacularly. Just looked at this and was confused because it wasn't Queen America, and yeah, I think I spent too much time on the lines between. It is... So what I'm trying to do, get you into my headspace, this corner where I try to kind of draw the enemies in has a whole bunch of black powder boxes, and our friend who occasionally throws a fireball from the upper platform has the ability to ignite that for us. The explosion will very likely kill us, but we're hollow, so we're gonna walk it off. And it will create a direct shortcut to the safe room. Like so. So I think the hammer can ignite them too, I guess because the hammer is metal and some sparks are bound to fly when this lad really gets into it. But yeah, let's just... And then this happens. A huge-ass guy with a huge-ass sword gets airdropped by an eagle. With a shit ton of health. While we're still being... Oh, there's a shot here. Or we're still being accosted by this asshole down there. This is our good friend the Pursuer, because why not have a Nemesis type enemy in a Souls game? he doesn't randomly start corridors, but there are absolutely spots where he will spawn in. Along with at least one boss fight that is mandatory. Yeah, this is pretty much not winnable given our current condition. But that also doesn't matter, because we don't have to beat him here. Should probably do something about our appearance. Now, the old sack of cloth. Oh, method. Yeah, I will say the game looks really nice. Very sharp and clean textures. Apparently, the person who makes the texture mod did also add a lot of, you know, layering and depth stuff. Oh, I guess the pursuer has vacated the premises. Yeah, the lighting is just really immersive. I always feel that lighting in video games doesn't have to be super realistic to be effective, but it needs to draw you in. Aww.
You may travel light, but methinks you bear a burden of your own. They say these trees grew from the remains of the giants. From each carcass sprouting new life growing into what you see now.
Nature's healing. Smart person would have just bought a firebomb for the job.
Lively times these are.
So we have one Estus Flask. March. Alright. I'm still in Elden Ring mode when it comes to fall damage. The kind of punishment you can take in that game is... it's kind of surreal compared to earlier Souls games where you're really fragile. And funnily enough, I know next to nothing about that Elden Ring multiplayer standalone spin-off. Like, a lot of that sounds, I want to say, immediately suspicious. In fact, Souls games have good multiplayer modes, so I don't know if it's gonna be PvP focused or PvE, because I haven't really looked into the announcement or watched the trailer, because I don't know. I kind of go back and forth how much I want to be hyped for something, and trailers also have a tendency to just be a little too... actually, no, it's a Souls game. They've kind of gotten us to the point, like, where every major Hollywood movie, in its final trailer before release, will pretty much spoil everything but the twist, if you're lucky, the twist in the ending. FromSoft kind of goes the opposite direction, and the trailers just kind of become supplementary reading. Like, there's a whole bunch of information, you know, lore information about Elden Ring that is... it's just in the trailers. Because there's narration there, and that narration, you know, tells you stuff that the games don't. At least not in exactly those words. Along with showing you pre-rendered stuff of things you just don't see in the game. And that's cool. Sometimes it's a little infuriating. At the very least, you would think that they would include those trailers in, say, oh, by the way, with patch so-and-so, we're also added high-resolution versions of all the trailers for it. But yeah, especially in, I don't know, 10 or 20 years, if they're re-releasing those games, a fresh coat of paint, those trailers need to be in there. Just, I mean, I guess YouTube isn't going anywhere soon, but, you know. Imagine some of the VHS tapes that they used to promote, like 16-bit era games. Like, I remember watching the... like, I think this was just a thing Toys R Us was giving away, like VHS tapes that were basically just like 40-minute hype reel of Donkey Kong Country with some you know, making of stuff. And, you know, because the way Donkey Kong Country was made with those pre-rendered 3D but then converted into 2D sprites, with that tech that was very novel at the time. Yeah, and imagine the Donkey Kong Country lore went so deep that you absolutely needed that VHS tape to make heads or tails of it all. Like a lot of the stuff in Elden Ring about the Divine Gate or something. And I watched the Erdtree trailer with Marika stepping up through over a whole bunch of dead people, presumably. There's just a lot of blood that isn't there when you get to the Divine Gate. Yeah, it's an interesting way to tell a story, in any medium, really. Oh no, my muscle memory is torn between Elden Ring and old Souls games. When it comes to jumping, at least. Yeah, so... anyway, that being said, yeah, I could probably watch the trailer for for the new Elden Ring spin-off thingy. And not feel like I'm being spoiled or anything. Guess we're being spoiled for Souls content. But also, I'm not really salty on it, but I guess it's just, you know, eyebrow, like one eyebrow goes up in the face of a multiplayer focused spin-off, when it kind of felt like Shadow of the Erdtree was it. Oh, come on. Let me... Whew. Really want to get those souls back, otherwise I'm not making any headway towards level 15. Level 15 in strength, that is. Like so. Not making any headway. Yeah, I guess another Elden Ring related announcement is soon after Shadow of the Erdtree. It doesn't really diminish my time with Shadow of the Erdtree, because that was my gaming experience of 2024. Like, I get why people didn't want it to win at the Game Awards, because it's technically just a DLC, although I still sometimes use the word expansion for, you know, DLC that... I should really focus. I still use the word expansion for DLC that deserves, that feels substantial, the way, like, say, old Blizzard expansion packs like Brood War and Lord of Destruction felt, and Shadow of the Erdtree was that. It felt that substantial. It's now a bad time to say that I was planning on a short stream anyway, because I really want to mind my bed time before work tomorrow. Again, this was primarily considered a showcase for the upgraded visuals. Although, well, first of all, this is Dark Souls 2, so I feel a little compelled to play more anyway. But also, kind of want to fuck around with other mods, because the game didn't just have gameplay problems. Like, there's a couple of things. Sorry, the game didn't just have visual problems. Some of the systems don't gel that well. Adaptability is kind of a pain in the ass. It's like every Souls game manages to have at least one stat that is kind of opaque in what it actually does, and also somewhat questionable if you should level it at all. And This one in particular has this adaptability stat, which is really... For one thing, you really need to put a few points in it if you want at least semi-decent invincibility frames during rolling. Because the game is really stingy about that. Finally. Don't trust it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just daydreaming, I think. My name is Kale. I'm a traveler like yourself. I'm navigating the continent to create a map. Why
Right.
cartography, you
This
ask?
game has a map.
Well, that's a good question.
An actual physical one in one place.
When I first came into this forsaken land, it was a curse? Something about a curse?
Yeah, that's another thing.
How embarrassing. I seem to have lost my focus.
No, buddy, you're losing your memory and your mind.
I have always been very fond of maps.
See, that's something I relate to, given that I have ADHD, and ADHD folks are prone to focusing on very specific interests, which can be true for any person, and it's also like a thing that's rather common with folks on the autism spectrum. But and it's also, just a nerdy quality. You just are, if you're very interested and focused on one thing, you're kind of nerding out about it. And I feel some kinship for these solos who have this one thing that is keeping them going. That's the one thing they're either never gonna forget, or that's the last thing they're gonna forget about their old life. And it's sad, but also kind of charming.
I came to this land some time ago. Drangleic, the Lost Kingdom. It sounded so romantic. Have you seen Majula? Oh, there's a rather spacious mansion there. I've made it my
Basement's haunted.
Well, as something of a squatter, I'm afraid.
Dude, nobody's gonna check your lease.
Inside the mansion, I found a strange map, like none I'd ever seen. I believe that it's a map of Drangleic.
I guess your job is done.
Traveling the land to prove it.
Ah.
Yes, that's it. That's why I came to the kingdom. Wait, no, that wasn't it.
Maybe?
Then what? I don't seem to recall.
No, buddy.
Were you looking for that map? Wonderful. Then you're fascinated by maps, just like me.
Yes. I'm just gonna say yes.
You should have told me before.
Us
Take this.
mapsters
To the mansion.
gotta stick together, right?
Joy to meet a kindred spirit out here. Incredible, really, isn't it? Such a map to be chiseled in stone. Oh, but one thing. I would not venture deep into the mansion.
Basement's haunted.
I can't be certain, but I've heard disturbing noises. Something about it feels wrong. Just be careful, please.
Kale, are you done?
Be back in a minute.
Okay.
Perhaps we will meet again.
Uh-huh. Something the game introduced. Well, I think aside from popping humanity, Estus was really the only way to and magic. Aside from popping humanity and using healing spells, Estus flasks were really the only thing to heal in Dark Souls 1. This game introduced life gems, which come with the conceit of they don't heal that much, they heal slowly over time. Although Estus also, has a little bit of an overtime component here. Though much more rapidly. This guy didn't need any frames to switch to his dagger, huh? And, you can move while using life gems. Which, I think in Elden Ring for sure, but I think the main healing method there, I'm just gonna call it Estus. You're auto-refilling flask. Like here, I stopped dead in my tracks to use Estus, and as we see earlier, you can move around slowly while using a life gem. That is one hell of a book. Forest Lockstone. All these little nuggets of world building and design. Also the layout in these places. Terribly confusing. So here's the map. And here's another squatter. Wow, who digs us for half our health? I mean, the health penalty from going hollow is also really harsh. I believe this one also doesn't respawn. Gives us another Estus flask shard. And a soul vessel, which is a one-time use respec item that you can use to rebuild your character stats. When talking to the old ladies again. Also, yeah, that hole is totally gonna become a thing, but you need... almost definitely need a ring that reduces fall damage.
Is that a shark? Here, to see luck. However,
And why give me the option? Why make me lie to my best companion here? Are you sure that's a hard mode covenant? We don't necessarily want that. Oh, there's also an NPC we haven't even talked to yet.
You're undead, aren't you? You have that distinct scent, the smell of irreversible fate. This is Majula. It is a kind of settlement. A place where life is almost normal. And in Drang Lake these days, there are very few places like that. I am Solden. And like you, I lost everything. And now I'm here. You probably heard that it was possible to break the curse here. Well, that's not true at all. There's nothing here for you, me, or anybody.
Every Souls game gets one. Quest for one warrior.
Do you know much about souls? Even I'm not certain, but I'm told that the soul is the essence of life itself. Anything living, sentient or no, supposedly has one. What we call the curse is traceable to the soul. Do you see what that means? To be alive, to walk this earth. That's the real curse, right there. We undead will never die. And that's quite a predicament, really. There are 4 beings in this land with giant souls. And wherever you go from here, you'll sooner or later come up against them. Each has a powerful soul and a terrible curse. If that frightens you, then you ought to just give up right now, like I have. Do you ever cry out for help? The journey of an undead is long and treacherous. You'll face invaders from other worlds at every turn. If you need help, why not proclaim faith in the Blue Sentinels? When you face danger, the Blue Sentinels will come to your aid. Protection is yours, if you wish. You need only accept their kind embrace. That is a wise decision. People are weak, but the Blue Sentinels watch over us in their benevolence. Let the Sentinels cradle you in their embrace.
It's getting a little personal.
Look at our new neighbors. How they fret over all and sundry. Oh, those were better days. Oh, dear me. It really takes me back.
Sultan, how long have you been sitting there?
Do you see the way beyond the bonfire?
But yeah, he kinda briefs you in a more
Giants.
extensive way than Emmy does.
Great fort, but little of it remains. You may just find something there that will be of use on your journey. But don't venture too far inside, or you might not come back. May you find peace on your journey.
This is not some cynical shit like the Crestfallen Warrior in Dark Souls 1. And Space also. There's just bounce to Matrilla. Keep doing that. Kinda ignored my own shortcut. That's okay. It's this guy again. Honestly, I think I'm gonna hoof it, and since I do wanna wrap up, I don't know if I have it in me to challenge the first boss. Gentlemen. Oh, that's nice. That's real swell. Yeah, I didn't even elaborate much more on gameplay issues. So adaptability is that basically tells you to invest unless you want really shit iframes when rolling around. That's an issue. Enemies being able to attack you while you're opening doors or chests. Which, you know, there's an honest argument to be made that that's just more realistic. That hopefully took care of some of them. The stun! The fucking stun lock from that asshole. What else? I believe the way my controller is configured fixes that, but the game has a really weird dead zone arrangement for your control sticks, which basically turns it into like an 8-way control scheme rather than a fully analog, you know, fluid positioning theme, so movement can be really rough if you leave it that unchanged. And stamina drains really quick, as you can see. Although that might also just be I wanna say recent-ish complaint, in the sense that we've since played Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and Elden Ring, and the games have just gotten faster and more dynamic. And of course, if you come back to Dark Souls 1 and 2, more deliberate, it's slower. And you know, that used to be the appeal of these games. So I'm a little on the fence on what I want to call, you know, failed experiments or mistakes or poor gameplay decisions. Oh, okay, so we have access to power stancing. So this is regular. Power stance goes like this. And also consumes a lot of stamina, but yeah. Just take a gander at the boss. It's not super hard. Just requires a little discipline at such a low level. Did you not? Motherfucker. But yeah, if I continue this playthrough on stream, I might look into more mods. You know, ones that don't drastically alter the way the game plays, but maybe just add a little bit of quality of life, or you know, sand off some of the rougher edges. So maybe a little more stamina, you know, making the stamina budgeting a little easier, and taking adaptability out of the equation, or paring it down. I think the game also has something like negative stamina, where the amount you overspend. Like most Souls games have a thing where if you have a little left in the tank, you can still do anything. You know, just one instance of anything, like moving or hitting with both hands, even though that's usually a costly move. If you have a sliver of stamina left, it's okay. They give you that, and then you're actually unable to do something just a little bit until regeneration kicks in. And I think this game is like, oh yeah, no, your last move puts you in debt. And in accordance to that, regeneration isn't gonna kick in for a little while. And that's, you know, one of those things. And he just tore off his arm to use as a club. It's one of those little things where you're like, hey, come on, can we get a bit of a break? Like, the game is still okay-ish balanced around that, but it's also less fun to play because that's a real flow killer, even if everything's, you know, along with everything being more expensive stamina-wise. Get greedy. Yay! This is a metal door, right? Yeah. You can break down a couple of locked doors in this game because they're just made of wood, and after a while they just yield to, well, you know. Your very good arguments. Seven of Fools. First ring? Oh, first usable or useful ring. Normally there would be a little orange-ish cloud around me, signifying you know, kind of like sparks, flowers, but that's another mod I installed. You know, just want to really make sure, yeah, to remove all the ring effects, because they can just get a little overwhelming. At some point you're just running around with a whole bunch of particle effects around your character, and I feel it can come at the expense of immersion. Oh, and that just went to Majula. So will we. Actually, I'm gonna call it right here. Next up, fairly soon, actually, is the mandatory pursuer fight. Not gonna lie, our character is has to train up a bunch for that. Although there are other paths that we can take, there are options. But yeah, thank you for watching. Again, I'm not sure if this is gonna be the first of a Dark Souls playthrough. I still have my eye on Legacy of Kain. Might also take a gander at the search. But yeah. Oh, those are our legs, aren't they? Yeah, let's put on pants. I don't care if the stats are worse. Yeah, anyway, everyone have a great start into your week, or great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.